Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you enjoy this one. Today we are talking about my 75-gallon tank. And I'm going to go through all the fish in it and see if this and these fish could be something that you are interested in getting for your next step up in your fish keeping career. Stick with us. Let's get started with something you might already have in your 10-gallon tank, which is guppies. I have all kinds of them in here. I've bred majority of them in here. Only one of them in there, I think, I didn't breed. It's the big female in there, the big orange one or yellow one. I'm sure you'll see it swimming around in there. But they are pretty hardy, but they're also pretty hit and miss. So if you get one, it could live for a very long time, live its whole life out. And then you could have another one from that same batch you got, and they're going to die in 2 weeks. They're very hit and miss sometimes because they're very overbred, because they are live bearers. Live bearers mean they give birth to live babies. Makes pretty much sense. And that means they can overpopulate your tank pretty quickly if you don't have a plan for it. If you don't want any breeding, you can just get straight males, which in the store, very easy to tell the difference whenever they're babies, like the ones in here, not as easy to tell. But I can pop a picture in the screen, a male and a female, and you can see the difference. The male has, I believe it's called the Carter fin, I believe. You'll see it running down, and they will actually like lift it up forward. You can tell the difference. The males are also a lot smaller than the females. Females get a lot bigger. You know, they need to hold all those babies, which I believe they can have upwards of 75 babies at once, I believe. So if you don't want breeding, you can just get males. Pretty hardy, depending on where you get them. But they're also kind of hit and miss sometimes. But the best thing I've had, only one of these, like I said, only one of these in here I bought from the store. The rest I bred myself. And the ones I've bred myself, not one of them has died. Besides the babies that are getting picked off when they're first born, they're all perfect. They're all perfect. So if you can get them breeding in your tank in just that water and not keep them super inbred, and maybe throw in some new genes every once in a while. If you just want a pure guppy tank, throw some new genes in there so it's not getting super inbred all the time. They're going to be great for you. And they're going to get super hardy in your water. They're getting born right into it. So I think they're fantastic fish. Love how they look. If you want to get into fish breeding, then this is the easiest thing you're going to get. Guppies, live bearers, any kind of live bearers. I've only had guppies. Only live bearers I've had, but they're pretty much all the same. The platies and other ones are much bigger, so their fry are going to be harder to eat because guppy fry are going to be very small. Also, endlers are even smaller, but I think they're fantastic fish. I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10 for your next community tank. Next fish we're going to talk about are danios. Zebra danios, leopard danios, gold danios. When I went to the store, it was just assorted danios. So I just said, yeah, just give me a whole scoop of them. I got like 8 of them, I believe. And they are very, very hardy fish. First fish I ever put in this tank were those danios, and they've been perfect the whole time. Never seen any problem with them. Not one of them has died. They are fantastic fish. They swim very fast. So if you're gonna get them, make sure you have room. This is a 75-gallon tank. They have lots of room to swim back and forth. That's what they love to do. They constantly swim. They're just going and going and going. Unlike some other fish we're gonna get to, they don't just chill out sometimes. They're just going and going and going, which really livens up the tank. If you have enough room. If you do not have enough room, you can't get them. Straight up. I'm not gonna lie to you. Unlike these fish stores, like the big mainstream ones, or even some smaller ones that just really just want to push a sail, I'm going to tell you what's up. You got a 10-gallon tank, you can't get these, man. They need room. And they're also schooling fish, so you need multiple of them. So, but they are very hardy though. Like I said, very beautiful fish. I can pop up a picture of a couple of them on the screen. Very beautiful fish. Really livens up the tank if you don't have a lot of movement. They're just going constantly. As you can see, we got, there's a gold one, zebra, I believe. There's all kinds of them there. But I really like them. I believe they are egg scatterers, so if you want to breed them, not super hard either. I have not done it yet, but I do have a setup for it right over there. If I'll just turn the camera, boom. And that one is set up for my White Cloud Mountain minnows. They're also egg scatterers, so they'll just like do it up in the water column, and they will kind of put the sperm in the water as well with it, and they'll get fertilized, sink to the bottom. But they will also just go and just pick them out of the air, and they will eat them, and then, or air, out of the water. And then they'll pick them off the ground too. So you need to get a way to separate them from that so that doesn't happen. Those marbles in there that you saw, they will fall through the cracks of those marbles, get in between them so they cannot get picked off. Also, you can just remove them from the tank as well, but you also can't always see exactly when that happens, and by the time you do realize that they have bred and they did lay eggs, it's probably going to be too late and they ate them all. But that's what they are. That's how you breed them. When I do eventually try to breed my White Cloud Mountain minnows, I will try to make a video on that as well. But back to the Danios, like I said, very hardy fish. I really like them. Active, all kinds of different colors you can get. Stay away from those giant Danios in the store. I've seen them. Do not get them. They get like this big, man. They get like 6+ inches. You can get a whole school of them, of like at least 6, and they'll pick and nip and kill your other fish. Stay away from them. But all the rest of the Danios, lovely fish. Absolutely love them. I am going to give them a 7 out of 10. As long, because of the requirement for swimming space. I have a 75-gallon tank, but you know, if you're just moving up to like a 20 long, or like a 40 breeder, or a 55, they should be good, but it's kind of like I like 75. I'm sure you can do them in smaller, but if you want a bunch of them, you're going to need more room. And that's why I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10. But I love these fish. Next fish we're going to talk about is the honey gourami. They stay not very small, but they stay small. So you could even have these in a 10-gallon tank, but this is about moving up to a higher volume tank. But they are only a couple inches long. Males are bigger than the females. Tell the difference between the males and females. Males are bigger, deeper gold color with a black line running down them. Females, smaller, paler color. Harder to tell in the fish store when buying them because they are obviously younger, and just the aquarium lights they have in there are not the best, obviously. Can't get their true colors out, and they're going to be stressed in there as well. So hard to tell in the fish store. If you're trying to breed them, you're supposed to go for 2 females to 1 male. That's what I tried to do, but I got 2 males, 1 female. Because, like I said, hard to tell in the store. But they are gouramis, so they have those 2 little antennas that they go around, touch, feel stuff with. Very interactive to their environment. Super cool. These are not fast swimming fish like the Danios. They just chill out. They'll just float there sometimes. You know, they'll pick at the substrate, they'll pick at the wood, you know, they'll go around. It's they're very cool fish to watch. Very cool fish to watch. If you're trying to breed them, like I said, 2 females to a male, and they are labyrinth fish. So they have a labyrinth organ, which means they can breathe air. They will go up to the surface and they can breathe air, just like betas can. Because they're also labyrinth fish. That's what that is. So they breed just the same way. They will make a bubble nest at the top of the tank, obviously. Bubbles fit the surface. They will make a bubble nest. Then they will lay the eggs in the bubbles. And they will stay there. And then they will hatch in a couple days. I believe 3-4 days, I believe they will hatch. But they're going to be pretty small. Pretty small. I don't think you need to feed infusoria to them. I don't think they're that small. I think you can get away with this stuff right here, which is fry food. It's just ground up, super fine ground up powder food, and you can just put it in there for them to eat. I believe so. Don't quote me. If you're interested, do some more research on that. But I absolutely love these fish. And they're small, so even if you're not going up to a 75-gallon tank, you can keep them in pretty much any size tank that is above 10 gallons. You can keep them in a 10-gallon. But for all those reasons, I'm going to give them... I really like how they look. Some people might not find them as cool as me because they are pretty small when you compare them to other gouramis. Oh, one more thing about them. When you're going to the store, you'll see a gold gourami. And don't get that confused with this. They can be called honey gouramis, gold honey gouramis. But you have to check and make sure. If you're trying to get this is also a very peaceful fish. Very, very peaceful fish. There's a gold 3-spot gourami. It's going to be much bigger. It's going to have the distinct 3 spots on it. Completely different fish. They get much bigger, probably about 4 inches, I believe. They are aggressive. They will nip fins. They are aggressive. Not cichlid aggressive, but they will pick on your fins and other things. Not a community fish. With certain other bigger species, other stuff, but community fit tank like this, not good. Be careful when you're buying them. But I'm going to give the honey gourami a 9 out of 10. You might say that's a little high, but I really like them. If they were a 10 out of 10, I think I would have them to be a little bit bigger to get them to that 10 out of 10 because they're just on the smaller side, which is good for certain circumstances for smaller tanks. But in the 75, they sometimes get a little bit lost. Wish they were bigger, but other than that, absolutely love them. The next fish we're going to talk about is absolutely loved by all fish keepers, and if you don't love them, I don't know what you're talking about. It is the coridori. Everybody loves coridoris. They'll go around picking at stuff. They're so derpy with their little barbells that they feel around stuff with. They're just awesome. Specifically in my tank, I have peppered cories. They are so hardy. Super, super, super hardy. I got 4 of them. I know I should get more. You're supposed to get more. Don't get, if you're going to get them, get 6. I know I only got 4. I am going to get more. But even with that, even with these 4, they are not super stressed out that there's only 4 of them. They're chilling, really. There is certain species that get super stressed out when there's not enough of them, but these guys seem like they're doing pretty good. But I will be getting more eventually. But I absolutely love them. If you're going to try to breed cories, the big ones, and you'll tell after they've been in your tank for a while and they'll grow up. The big ones, that's the female. Little ones, those are the males. They will go around. You'll probably wake up in the morning. Because every time they've laid eggs for me, I wake up in the morning, go look at the tank, eggs everywhere, all over the glass, probably by your filter. They try to put it where there's fast flowing water. I've had it all over the glass here, over there, on the back of the glass, but I absolutely love them. If that's how you're going to try to breed them, if you want to, get in there with a credit card or just your fingers and just kind of roll them off. They're hardy eggs, so don't worry about squishing them. and get them off. You can put them in a different tank, do that. Do more research about that. I'm not going to get into that. That's what this video is. And it's fun to do fish research. Go on YouTube, look up more specific videos about that. If you want me to deep dive into any specific details on any fish that we're talking about or fish we didn't talk about today, leave it in the comments. Tell me if that's what you want. But back to the quarries. They are bottom dwellers. They are catfish, so they're going to be on the bottom of the tank looking around for any food that is left over from, you know, if you're feeding your other fish and it goes down to the bottom, they're going to be eating that. But you cannot rely on just that. They are not just a cleanup crew. They're not just a cleanup crew. Even though they do help clean up, that's not their sole purpose. So you have to get sinking pellets or sinking wafers. There's some sinking pellets right here. You put them in, they sink to the bottom of the tank so the quarries can go around and eat that stuff. I also have wafers, same thing. And if you don't get that stuff for them, they will starve. Unless you're dumping way too much food in the tank that enough gets on the ground for all the quarries and stuff, which I still isn't good because, you know, just feeding straight flake food is just not the best. It's really not the best. You need kind of a variety. But if you're going to get quarries, make sure you have proper food because they will starve if you don't. And do not do them to these derpy little guys, which I love them. They're so cool. Make sure your substrate is relatively soft. Make sure it's not super sharp stuff, which I know that's not like a huge deal, but like it needs to be kind of smaller like mine is. I know there's some big accents rocks, bigger pebbles and stuff, but they need to kind of root or be able to like move it around. They will search through it some with their barbells to feel where the food is and this and that. So you don't want it to be super rough on their barbells because then they will eventually wear off and fall off. And that's how they find their food, is with feeling and sensing with those barbells. So keep that in mind. If you want the perfect substrate form, sand. That's they would absolutely love that. They'll search through it super good. That's what they would love. But I absolutely love these guys. I think they're beautiful colored. There's all kinds of different quarries. I know there's much more flashier ones, but they're also, you know, more expensive. And they're not as hardy. These ones I think look great. They're relatively affordable, super hardy. So I think for your next move up and you're trying to get this community tank and you want to bring your stuff up and this is the first time you're able to get quarries because, you know, you can't really keep quarries in a 10-gallon tank, I would highly recommend the peppered quarry. And I am going to give them a 10 out of 10. Absolutely love them. Go get yourself some. Even if it's not peppered quarries, get some kind of quarries. Come on, go get them. And the last fish species I have in this tank is rainbow fish. I have two different species in here. There is the striped ones, and then there is the red ones. It's a red something name. I can't really remember, but two different kinds. You're going to need a big tank for rainbow fish. You're going to need a 75-gallon tank because they get big. They're already about 3.5, 4 inches already, 3 inches, and they get bigger. Some of them, like the Basmani rainbows, they get upwards of 6 inches. I think these ones are going to get a little bit bigger, but you need room. You need room for them. And all kinds of different ones. Beautiful, beautiful, vibrant colors. That's called rainbow fish. So you know they're going to have great colors. The other 4 I have in here are great fish. I really like them. They are bigger, so they will, like if you're going to do exactly what I'm doing, which I'm not telling you to, which I don't recommend you to do exactly what I'm doing, do what you want to do. Do what feels right to you and explore and make your own thing. Okay, I'm not telling you to do exactly what I'm doing. But if you're going to have guppies with them, they will eat the fry because they are bigger. You're going to have some fry survive. But last time I had baby guppies, I think I had like 30 of them. And as you can see, I don't have 30 guppies in there, or 30 plus, because I already had some in there. But they will get picked off. So if you want them guppies to survive, scoop them out, move somewhere else. But I absolutely love the rainbow fish. I'm going to rate them like a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10, depending on how big of a step up of a tank you need, because you're pretty much going to need a 75 gallon because of how big they get and how many you're going to need. But I still think they're pretty cool. If you don't have like a price range, get a 75. You can put pretty much anything you want in here if it's not crazy. And if you're trying to make a community tank, you're not going to have anything in there. You're not going to find something in that you can't put into a 75. But if you're only going up to like a 40 gallon or whatever, so that kind of bumps it down to like a 6. But if you don't have that price range that you're really caring about, I give them a 7. I like them. Beautiful colors, plenty of options. Yeah, that's the rainbow fish. But guys, this is going to be the end of the video. That's all the fish I have in here. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video helped you in your fish keeping journey and you upgrading to a bigger tank. And if it helped you, let me know in the comments. Give me a like, give me a sub, and tell me what you want me to deep dive into next, if there's any specific species or what else about. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.